My name is Mark Lariviere. I'm a sculptor living in New York City and also upstate in Stephentown, New York. These large pieces were created during the last few years as I was spending more and more time living in the country during the pandemic. When I first moved out of New York in March 2020, I was at a loss for what to do. I did a lot of drawing, mostly self-portraits, and also copying museum pieces from reproductions. When I began to work in sculpture, beginning in the summer of 2020, I decided to work on a group of figures that represented who we were as a people on the planet at this time, going through what we were all going through. One of the first pieces of art that moved me when I was young was a large wooden Buddha at the Rhode Island School of Design Museum in Providence. The docent commented that if we stayed really quiet, we might feel and hear the spirit of the sculpture. This was the first time that I realized that art was not made just to look like something, but was made to embody a kind of spirit that could move through it and affect the viewer. As a young person, I did a lot of drawing. I drew constantly. It was a way for me to tell stories, and it was a way to understand who I was and where I wanted to go. It was the one thing that I felt that I could do that no one could really criticize me for. I wasn't a public artist. I drew mostly in notebooks and kept them to myself. I also did a lot of clay sculpture and I worked in ceramics. It was a surprise when I decided to go to art school, as I was almost destined to take over the family business. I work mostly in clay, casting many pieces. I also fire ceramic pieces. I sometimes do carving, working in wood and stone, but for the most part, I work in clay. Working in ceramics has introduced a new kind of finish and color to my work. It's opened up a lot of possibilities to the kind of finish, texture, and color that I can employ in the work. As the pandemic hit, I felt that the color I was using, the color of the glossy finish, didn't fit how I was feeling. It didn't work with the newer pieces. It didn't convey what I wanted to convey. I began to use different finishes that were a bit rougher, but they were more to how I was feeling. I showed this small sculpture in a gallery last year, and during the reception, a man came to me and very cautiously said that it reminded him of a Stephen Crane poem. Not knowing that I loved Crane and had read and reread him many times, he recited the poem. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who squatted upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered. "But I like it because it is bitter and because it is my heart." I was truly moved because I felt this man had understood my work.